Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. We are back with another episode. It is officially playoff time in the NFL. Week 18 just wrapped up, but it is Black Monday in the NFL. So we have a ton of coaches being fired, jobs being opened. So we're going to start this episode out talking about kind of the coaching cycle. Coaches fired, rightfully, wrongfully. What are the best jobs? What are the best fits coaches-wise? And then we'll wrap up this episode with our official playoff predictions. But how we doing, guys? I know Cole, big day for y'all, securing the first overall pick. Pete Carroll is officially out the door. We can kind of start there with your Las Vegas Raiders. Big weekend for y'all.
Yeah, bro. I gotta say, yesterday was a great day. We haven't won in like 12 weeks. It probably was since we beat the Titans earlier in the year. And we got to beat the Chiefs, send Travis Kelce maybe home, maybe he's done, and kept the number one pick. So it's like the Giants won, so I got to enjoy the whole Raiders game, cheering for them to win because we already had the number one pick. So I was excited about that. Then Pete Carroll getting fired today. That's just what's best for the franchise. If we're serious going forward, we're looking for a new coach, kind of an opportunity to probably draft a quarterback here at the number one pick, bring in a new coach with him, and like that almost makes you feel like you're starting fresh in a way, even though it was supposed to be last year when we were starting fresh. It is going to be nice having another offseason where it does feel like a fresh start with a new coach, new quarterback, number one pick, level expectations, gets you excited. So we'll see.
Number one pick, man. Worst team in the league.
Shout out Gino.
Worst team in the league.
For securing that for me.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to some of the shit we were saying at the beginning of the year.
We were the worst team in the league. I did not – and by the way, anything I said about Geno Smith in the past completely will – right hand up. I thought he was going to be really good. I thought it was going to be a great fit. I thought having Brock Bowers and, Jacoby Myers at the start of the year and all like in that first game, we saw it. He threw for 350. We beat the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Like, it was like, I thought my take was going to be so right. Yeah. And then, man, absolute collapse of a season after that. I don't want to make this all about the Raiders today, but I mean, it is relevant. We got the number one pick. It's like kind of last time we'll talk about us until after the season, probably. Because now playoffs is getting started. But the first Monday after the season, whenever all the coaches are getting fired, those bad teams kind of get their last, recap of the season, what we're doing going forward before we get fully into playoff stuff.
Yeah. I like where you guys are at, to be honest.
I just wanted to step in and say, I also like where you guys are at because you have this asset in Max Crosby that can net you another first this year if you wanted to go down that route. And it seems like, I don't know, it just seems weird because I feel like this is the third year in a row where there's been some back and forth with sitting him at the end of the year when he just wants to play. I feel like that's been going on for a minute now, but I do think you guys
don't like that shit.
Yeah, he just wants to play. But I think there was a lot of, you can brag on Geno, which rightfully so you can because of the turnovers and everything like that. But there's also been some circumstances where you're watching the game and I mean bro is dropping back 2 steps and he's already has somebody in his lap.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
O-line's just terrible.
And with no established run game, there's only so much you can do offensively with no real true run game in that situation. So, yes, I do got to put some stuff on Geno because it's quarterback is the most important position in the sport. But I do think there are just so many other factors. And I just think the Raiders just weren't talented enough this year to really even be anything. Especially after you moved Jacoby Myers. That receiving room just went to nothing, basically, outside of Brock Bowers. But you have Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers as your cornerstones of the franchise, and now it looks like are you fine with them drafting Mendoza, Cole? Is that something that you're on board with, or trading back? What's the draft process now?
Yeah, no, we're drafting a quarterback at 1. I think it's going to be Mendoza. I still got some tape to watch. We got Indiana, Oregon to watch here on Thursday or Friday. That'll be a good tell. I mean, it's lucky Raiders fans get to watch one of their 2 quarterbacks, whether that's Dante Moore or Fernando Mendoza, go up against each other. And that'll be cool to see who outplays who. Not that that's going to tell the full story. I got to crunch the tape, man. I got to see who I want. But I'm trusting John Spytek and Tom Brady to pick the right guy here. If we don't draft a quarterback at 1, we should trade back. Number 1 pick is reserved for quarterbacks only to me, unless you're just going to trade back. Right now, I think I want Mendoza. But there's some things I've been seeing about how he's kind of an RPO merchant. He just takes 1 read throws and stuff. And Dante Moore maybe potentially has a higher upside. Off season, post college season, that stuff can get kind of tricky because you kind of forget what was really going on this season, even though both of them have been great. But I think we're in a good spot. Both those guys got a good chance to be really good. So I don't know fully yet, but I'd say Mendoza right now.
Is there anybody that sticks out to you to like be the head coaching hire? Because it is Black Monday. You guys did fire Pete Carroll this morning, which I think was the right decision to get another clean slate with the number 1 overall pick. But who is the coach?
Yeah, so one kind of thing I was worried about going into this coaching carousel is that, yes, I want to fire Pete Carroll, but there's not a bunch of really good hires on paper, at least. Not that really matters. And if we're going to take a quarterback number 1, maybe that's a situation where you kind of want an offensive-minded coach with him. But if we just get the best head coach available and still get a really good established OC, then I think I'm okay with it. There was reports from Tom Brady that Tom Brady is targeting Brian Flores to outpay the Vikings and get him to become the Raiders' new head coach. And then we bring in Brian Dable, former coach of the Giants, to be our OC. And that would make me feel really comfortable. We're talking about 2 guys that have been head coaches, with Brian Flores being a DC now, but showing that he easily could be a head coach, as probably being the best defensive play caller in the league, like easily. And I just trust him to kind of fit into our culture and kind of bring that edge that we need. Pete was a great coach. At this older age that he was, I mean, he had a lot of energy, right? People say that, but sometimes I almost think he was too positive. He wasn't really holding anyone accountable. He would just kind of act like everything's fine when stuff wasn't going on. Brian Flores isn't going to give us that. So, I don't know. I'm in on Brian Flores being our head coach as long as we have a good OC. Other than that, dude, I'm not really too excited about any names. Mike McDaniel intrigues me if he was our OC, but I don't really want him to be the head coach of the Raiders. I think we need a guy with that edge, kind of bringing it back to where John Gruden had us in 2021. That's kind of where I want our next head coach to have the team at.
And I think he's somebody that I think he would be a really good get, to be honest. Just bringing him. Well, I have my own take. I was talking about Gruden, but like I'm talking about like thinking about Flores. I kind of have a take with that, and I kind of talked to Nick about it before we started recording. Is like with what he's built these past couple of years in Minnesota, like he's the type of guy now to where his name's always going to be in the head coaching cycle, to where like he can really take the Ben Johnson approach and wait for a job that he truly wants. Because Ben Johnson could have left the year after Detroit lost to the Niners, and he could have been a head coach wherever he really wanted. He was getting interviews out the world, and he decided to stay because he wanted a job that best suited him. And now I'm looking at the coach, like the teams available. Yeah, I think the Raiders could pay and outpay the Vikings if they wanted to go that route. I think the Vikings could easily just make him the highest paid coordinator in the league because he's a big part. He's just as important as KOC is to the Vikings. But
he's more important.
I'm not seeing. Yeah, like you could even argue that point. I'm just
raised back. I don't know if he is or not. I'm just talking.
You could argue it though with how good the defense has been.
Yeah, no, definitely. You definitely could.
I just don't see any of these jobs as like, I'm going to leave Minnesota, who you've built such a good culture defensively here, to go coach the Giants, Titans, Cardinals, who are a dumpster fire. Like the Raiders, yes, they have the number 1 overall pick, but you're talking about you going in there. Dumpster fire still, like having to rebuild the whole team. The Browns could be cool just because of their defense, but like you already have an even better defense, in my opinion. Yeah, you don't have the Myles Garrett, but you have a better all-around defense with the Vikings. So it's like, I think the only job, and I said it was a hot take, that he would leave the Vikings for is if Harbaugh got fired from the Ravens and he went to the Ravens to fix them in that defense. That's the only job I think he could realistically leave the Vikings for this offseason. But John Harbaugh has to be fired, and like that would have to go down. But I think he ends up staying. But I think him just talking about the hottest name, I think he's rightfully so the hottest name. But I don't think he's just leaving the Vikings job to just go be a head coach for any team. He's already done that before, so he's going to go for the right spot
over Kevin Stefanski. Do you think he is? Do you think he's a better hire than Kevin Stefanski, depending on situation?
Yes. I do. I really do. Yeah, I think Stefanski is like...
I mean, you're talking about a guy who's won a playoff game as a head coach and been in the playoffs recently and won.
I think he's going to have a little bit of bad press under him. Like, he's might have a little bit of bad press under him just of what happened with the Browns this year and the whole QB drama and just the weird energy I know the Browns are always weird, but there's just a lot of weird energy to where like Stefanski might not be, he might be resume wise the best guy you could probably go get, but I don't think teams are going to be knocking down their door with a young quarterback to bring in Stefanski after what they just saw him have with 2 young quarterbacks that they just drafted.
Yeah. Okay, I don't even know if Stefanski can do a job.
If it's a veteran team,
quarterbacks, like the only thing with Stefanski is I felt like he was always kind of controlled from higher up power within the organization. Mm-hmm. I felt like they were always kind of controlling his decisions. So all the quarterback drama, I really just blame the front office on that type of stuff. I don't really think Kevin Stefanski had, maybe not with, of course he decides who starts and stuff, but there were times like in the past where it just felt like with all the Deshaun stuff, with how much money they had been paying him, just decisions have always felt weird there from the Browns because to cover up for how bad their front office has been. It feels like they try to kind of control him, and that I just have gotten that vibe before from some of the decisions.
I think if I had kind of just talking about the coaches, I have them kind of all like listed under like, not even on like ranking, but I just have a list of kind of the guys I like and that could be in line for a job. Talking about Stefanski and his just resume, he could be a guy that gets to the Falcons with all those weapons and could be the guy to fully unlock them. Because you got to think, realistically,
I like that
it might just be in their best interest, talking about the Falcons job and pairing the two, for them to roll with Kirk Cousins as the starter to start next year. You got to think they've ended the season on a 4-game win streak. And when Kirk Cousins was out there, this team was just clearly better. And I think with how the division shaped out, if you started Kirk Cousins off the jump, I think Falcons would have been in the playoffs right now. If you started Kirk Cousins all year.
They only needed one more win.
Definitely.
So you got to think in that situation, Stefanski could be the guy, because I think the Falcons are always the sexiest job year in, year out that could be because of Bijan, Drake London. They have all these weapons. The defense finally turned its head this year. But it's just like Raheem Morris, I think, was wrongfully fired, but I don't know. Let me know.
Yeah, it's a weird spot because I don't think
Falcons not playing the best football in their division. What was that, Nick? You don't think Raheem Morris should have been fired?
No, but I also, I don't know. Stefanski could definitely go in there and make some moves. If he does, though, I don't think you for sure roll with Kirk Cousins right off the bat. I think you got to leave it open. I don't think it's Penix's fault either, to be honest.
I just think they're both put in a tough situation because you paid Kirk off the Achilles, who can still play. Who's proven he can still play. That's not... Like, Kirk Cousins is only really a pocket passer at this point, but he can still push the ball downfield. Like, he is still able to win you some games in this league. But it's just like, then you want to see what's going on with Penix. But then you paid and then drafted somebody off an Achilles and somebody in Michael Penix who clearly has injuries in his past. So it's like such a tough thing to assess for real.
Yeah, I think Stefanski, coming off of what Cole said, where he's coming from an organization where the guys are always telling him what to do, and he doesn't really have a choice. They're always saying Deshaun Watson's going to come back and play football somehow. He's always, you don't know if he really wants to start Gabriel or Shadur Sanders. I think he's going to want to go into the Falcons and decide who he wants to start. I'm going to look at what Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix do, and I'm going to make that decision.
I think he would lean Kirk Cousins because he's been dealing with the young QB shit for years
probably,
now.
But you got to at least see it. You got to at least.
Penix not made you feel? You don't feel like Penix has anything? I feel like I don't think I'm off of Penix yet.
I'm definitely not off
a guy who you just start and try to see what he still has.
This dude Corey had him leading the league in passing yards this year.
The Falcons aren't in a position to just be like, we're win now. We got to go Cousins. They just missed the playoffs.
What do you even get from Penix at this point?
I'm looking at it more as me as just a fan. I think I would want them to roll with Penix, but I'm trying to put this how would the GMs and the coaches view, and how would they view it? Would Stefanski want? Say if he got the job, any coach got the job with the Falcons, would you trust what you got from Kirk Cousins at the back half of last year and use the argument that I just said of if he started all year, they would have made the playoffs? And to see if you make it a competition, of course, come training camp time, and see who wins that job. But I don't know. I'm not saying Penix is done by any means because I still believe in Penix. I'm trying to view it as what are the owners thinking? Because the Falcons have the talent, offensively at least, and the defense has been better, but to compete and win this division because of how the Panthers just won this division, and the Falcons have 3 times the talent as the Panthers. So looking at that, I just think they're going to look at it as let's try to make the playoffs because who knows what the Bucs' futures looks like. I mean, I think the Bucs just had the worst ending to the season you possibly can have. So it's just kind of tough. I don't know. I'm trying to view it from like the owner's perspective and like wanting to win and sell tickets and shit rather than like development. But I don't think the gap between Penix and Kirk is that big. It's just Kirk been there, done that. Like,
yeah, that could be an interesting fit though. Stefanski, Arizona.
I also like Robert Saleh to get and with the Falcons with that defense. I think Robert Saleh is going to get a job this summer, no matter what happens with the Niners in this whatever they lose, because there's just too many jobs, and I think he's another like wrongful fire with the Jets. So like, I just think there's no way he exits like this offseason without a head coaching job, unless he wants to be the Niners DC and he's waiting for another job. Like say he took the Flores route and just like stays in a good organization for another year, waits for a better job opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Robert Saleh with the Falcons will be fine. I think the Falcons can go anywhere with coaching because I think they can do whatever they want.
Because they still have a really good roster. Like it's just where do you want to go with it?
I think I'd take Robert Saleh in Vegas too. I think I like that.
That'd be interesting.
He's good.
He's a really good culture guy. He's a really good culture guy. Some other names that I had on this list, I guess like kind of jumping around the teams. Joe Brady's another interesting name that was in cycles last year. He's somebody that's super interesting for like the Giants job, in my opinion.
It's the Bills OC, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Whoever gets the Giants job.
Take the Daboll route, just leave the Bills, go straight to the Giants.
Yeah. I don't know, because Brian Daboll's still a name out there. I think I've just heard that Mike McCarthy is was the lead for the Titans job because of his like quarterback development and Cam Ward and building that all up. And I think Mike McCarthy, I've said this before in the past, like he's just a floor raiser. Like McCarthy's, anytime he's been a coach, he's bare minimum a playoff berth
11.
at least. Yeah, like he's 10, 11 wins every year. And maybe you just need, sometimes it's not about this like sometimes it's not about these like flashy names. Like sometimes you just need somebody that has been there before. Like the Titans just need somebody.
Commanders.
Yeah, like somebody that's just like an established guy. Like Mike McCarthy been around the league. You don't like the Titans are so young and they need a culture setter. Not saying Mike McCarthy's the greatest culture setter, but they just need somebody that is a winner. Like don't bring in somebody who's never won before, the young coach. That's what they already tried to do. And it already didn't work. So like, and they need to do so much just bringing in talent. But I'm like, if you bring a decent offense around Cam Ward and a play calling of Mike McCarthy, I think something could turn the corner. And that division is so weird. Like the Jags legit just won this division, and motherfuckers on this pod saying the Jags weren't going to be shit this year. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no way for me to just sit here and be like, I know exactly what head coaching jobs are going to. Because I thought Liam Cohen was going to be a disaster, and he's been great.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know which head coaches are going to go in and be good where.
Yeah, it's tough to know.
I mean, I think the best job is the Falcons, if we can agree. The best job opening right now currently.
I agree with that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And then I'd go.
We've said that before with the Falcons too, though.
Yeah. I'd go Giants too.
That job does not sound intriguing to me.
I'm thinking Titans,
looking
maybe
at that
Giants. Division,
you don't even know if Jackson Dart's your guy right now. I don't know if I'm into that, but
I'm just trying to think of like talent wise. You got Neighbors, Dart, Scadaboo.
If you believe in Cam Ward, the Titans is a good job.
Yeah, the defense. I think the Titans job is interesting because that just feels like a complete clean slate with your quarterback.
Yeah,
Cam Ward. If you like Cam Ward, I like Cam Ward. I think that's a good job. I would be interested in coaching the Titans if I was.
I mean, the Browns job is interesting if you can just get the front office off your back.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to be a little biased here. I think Raiders has to be a top job if you're looking at Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, and the number one pick sitting there. That's the real reason. It's not just because it's the Raiders. You have the number one pick sitting there. You still have Max Crosby on the team.
So Max Crosby.
You have some of the youngest weapons in the NFL when it comes to Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. Trey Tucker's good too. Ashton Genty just had a really good season quietly, honestly, with the worst line ever. I mean, we're talking yards before contact. They're last in it. Everything. Time to throw last. It's Ashton Genty has shown he's a legit back in a pass game or in for establishing your run game. We're going to have Colton Miller healthy next season. Pete Carroll didn't get to coach a healthy Colton Miller. If I'm a coach, I look at this as a good job with the number one pick sitting there if you like Mendoza or Dante Moore.
Yeah, I think the vibes are going to be completely different in Las Vegas next year.
You said what?
So I think the vibes are just going to be completely different in Vegas next
They
year.
are, but it's like I can't get too excited. It's still the Raiders, though.
Right.
It still could all just turn shit. Brock Bowers could just fall off. Like, I don't think he's going to, but it's the Raiders, bro. Anything could fucking happen. Not to get back to them, but that's got to be a job coaches are looking at because the number one pick. That's what I wanted to say.
I think the Cardinals might be the worst job.
Yeah.
Dealing with the Kyler shit.
Is it, though?
The cap hit that you're probably going to take because they're probably either going to
cut
cut / trade him. What do you really like?
Shout out Trey McBride, by the way. Elite ass season, just for nothing, but like historic tight end season.
I mean, when Michael Wilson came in and balled out as a wide receiver too. Their offense, their offense is weird, bro. Like Marv is hurt all the time. Mm-hmm. Michael Wilson will be gone.
They said Michael Wilson's turned into Calvin Johnson. He's a Raider. I'm just kidding.
Oh, Michael Wilson's getting paid.
James Conner, fucking 32 years old, coming off his 10th injury.
They're going to be a team that drafts a running back and then just kind of gets a bridge QB somewhere. If they just bring back Jacoby or whatever, yeah, it'd be unserious. But like, they have some guys on offense right now, but they need to establish the run again. They need to bring in another back because Connor's old and coming off of a bad injury. The defense is nothing really. And you're in a tough-ass division now because Seattle's turned the corner. The Niners are always the Niners. And the fucking Rams, as long as Stafford and McVay are paired up, like they're going to be a threat to make the playoffs every single year if they're healthy. Like, their only chances is like Stafford fucking retires and the Rams take like a year break and year gap figuring out their quarterback spot, but like that's their only path they have in the division. Unless I don't know, we've seen crazier shit happen. Like I just talked about the Jags, but like the Cardinals, like with no QB, it's not like they have Trevor Lawrence. Like they're getting rid of Kyler, it seems like. So I don't know. I just think they're the most unappealing job, like for a head coach.
Yeah, I also will say too, I got worried about this like with the Raiders too, and they were just bad, so it didn't end up mattering. But like if you look at the Vikings. Like going into this year, like we've seen too, you can still put together a good season and have a shot at the playoffs and still be like in the third, fourth for your division too. So it's not like the end of the world for them in that sense. They still could be a good team and compete. I just wanted to note that. But it definitely is when you're looking at it through a lens of a coach who's looking at, we have to play 6 of our games are against these teams. That's where I look at the Cardinals job as the worst job too, because it's like that. For a coach, that's scary. That's 6 potential losses in division.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other coaches. Like, I have Raheem Morris on here. I think he could easily go be a coordinator somewhere. Like, we've talked about McCarthy, Matt Nagy, Steve Spags.
I got Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator. I can see him getting a job.
I also think there's like 2 or
Clayton
3
Kubiak.
other jobs that are going to be available. Depending on the
Ravens
Seahawks
could be open, like you said.
The Ravens, the Bucks. I think that both of those would easily jump to the top teams that a coach would want to go coach. Like, just because where they're at, what they already have, especially the Bucks in that division. Like, if they get the right coach in there,
potentially.
It seems like they're going to stay put, though.
I think they're going to keep him.
Yeah, I think that they could just easily stay put.
I think Tua might be the one to be kicked out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down the teams and see if there's any other. Maybe the Jets get crazy or something crazy and like they get off Aaron Glenn. Maybe something like that happens. Like, yeah, I think the only other jobs I could see opening up is like Tampa and
Cincinnati should have, but I don't think that's
and
happened.
the Ravens. And Cincinnati would have been a very interesting job.
That would have been the one.
You think that would have been the top job?
Oh yeah, with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. It don't matter what that defense looked like. That's the job right there. I think the Commanders could open. I mean, I think Dan Quinn should be fired. I think Dan Quinn sucks, but it doesn't look like they're going to.
The Dan Quinn stuff at the end of the year with Daniels was so interesting.
It was the actively trying to get your quarterback killed. He must hate him.
I don't know how you think Dan Quinn sucks.
I think he sucks.
I think Dan Quinn went into the worst head coaching situation in a cycle where he was hated on the whole time for being the worst hire, getting clowned by Commanders' own fans, and took them to the NFC title game with the rookie quarterback and nobody on defense. He had no personnel on defense, but because he's such a good defensive mind, they were able to have a good enough defense. He played this whole season with a backup quarterback and a banged-up starting quarterback, Jaden Daniels.
They did that because of him. Because of him. It was his fault that the quarterback
snapped his arm. It's not his fault. He shouldn't have been in at the end.
Really? Because they're down 30 points with 2 minutes left in the game, and they still got him out there. When he's an injured quarterback that was already hurt in the year.
But even before the arm was snapped, he was banged up and stuff. So you can say that it was his fault for him not being in there. But let's not say Dan Quinn's a bad coach. He took a team to the NFC title just last year.
I also think that's just kind of who.
I think Sirianni's a bad coach. I think bad coaches can win. I think it is possible.
Jane Daniels is also, I feel like, going down the path of that might just be who he is as a quarterback. He's a high risk, high reward. He's not the biggest quarterback in the world. He's so skinny and frail when you look at him sometimes, and he's out there making all these explosive runs. And it's not like, and even Lamar Jackson, who's a way bigger quarterback than Daniels, even he is banged up majority of the year because of his play style. And I just think, like, if Jane Daniels doesn't change his play style a little bit, he's always going to be somebody that's game time decision, week to week, always in the blue tent. Like, I'm not going to blame it all on Dan Quinn, because Jane Daniels is also out here looking for hits.
No, I'm not saying it's all on him, but I don't. Yeah. But
I see both sides.
The defense is bad this year off of the great year last year. The whole team is old, so they do have to completely reshape their team. But head coaches have great years all the time. It happens a lot. I don't think this is a guy where you're
not wrong about that. I'm not going to say he's the level of coach that he showed, like, oh yeah, he's not going to be, winning playoff games every season. I don't think of him that highly. But I do think it's a little wild to, off of this year with so many injuries across the board on their team, a year removed of him doing that. It's a little wild to just come in.
It would be crazy to the public if he was to get fired.
Yeah.
I think we could be I think if you skip forward 365 days, we could very easily be looking at a Dan Quinn firing.
Yes. Not right now, though. Not right now. This season.
Maybe. I think it should, but, I completely get it if they don't.
Sure. He gets another year for sure. And it depends on why they're bad.
Terry
if it's Jane
was
Daniels
too.
being hurt half the year, yeah. But that's just the problem with having an old-ass roster.
It's an old-ass roster. But the defense, he's a defensive guy. That defense was terrible this year.
And everybody on their defense is over 30. Damn near.
But, they were last year, too.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it depends on how they're bad and how they're struggling. Because if it's like a situation like Jane Daniels is missing multiple weeks of the season, then what are you going to do? Put it on Dan Quinn? But,
okay.
I see what you're saying, though.
But he is the one that did it, brother. I was watching the game.
Yeah.
He is the reason that he was hurt the second half of the year.
Their season was over really by week 5.
But we looking at it like the Falcons right now. Like the Falcons, they thought obviously their season was over on December whatever, but they ended the season one game out. Obviously, any moment can change in this league. Change exactly what happened at the end of the year.
Yeah, they're also in a way tougher division than the Falcons.
Well, for sure.
You got to win that division, you got to be at least 12 wins.
Hey, they ain't last, though.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. I kind of view Dart and Daniels kind of in the same conversation right now. Not as in terms of talent and player. Not in terms of talent and player, but kind of their play styles and
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. I just think they're two frail quarterbacks that just look for hits sometimes. And if you're the owners of these teams and it's you're looking at Daniels and his play style and you're looking at Dart and his play style, every game Dart was in the medical tent damn near. So looking at that, I'm just viewing him off their play styles and getting out of the pocket, has quarterbacks and making explosive runs and plays. I don't know. I just think it's such a risky game to play. And I think Daniels, unless he kind of really tunes in and don't take it out of your game because that's who you are. But is there just times where he's just taking the most unnecessary hits? And they both do. I'd watch Jackson Dart just try to lower his shoulder for no good reason, and all of a sudden he's coming off the field.
They call so many offensive runs for Jaden Daniels. He does a lot of the where he shouldn't be running, but they also have a lot of scripted runs for him. Probably the most in the league.
I just like to see them use their weapons more.
Yeah,
you have a quarterback that can run, but you don't see the Ravens looking to run Lamar every single play. I want the Commanders to just get an established run game this offseason and add some more weapons. So your main threat isn't RPO with Daniels, and then he's in the blue medical tent, and then you have Mariota in here trying to run the offense in the back half of a meaningful game. I don't know. I just worry about the play style of Jane Daniels.
Just no more going into the year with Austin Eckler as your running back one. We gotta beef up that running back room.
I still don't understand why they got rid of Brian Robinson.
I don't get it either. I don't get
That
it.
happened middle of the year. I was like, what are we doing?
And now we see the whole year that could have been probably a good guy to have on your team. Maybe might have been good.
I don't know. That was just a questionable thing for me. I don't know. The Commanders are weird, but I think it's still a year away from Dan Quinn being fired.
Bill had some good games for them. I don't know if he's a reliable
why did he lose all his,
RB1
like,
going
snaps
forward, but
that was weird because I like.
I mean, I think I want Jaden. Like, I want him in these run plays. Those designed runs. He's not going to get hurt on. I mean, sure, you can get cracked in like by a linebacker in the middle of the field and like blown up, and that could put some wear and tear on his body. But like, those aren't necessarily as dangerous as the ones where he's trying to extend plays towards the sideline and stuff like that. So I agree in a sense. Like, I think just as he develops and gets older, I know he's already an older quarterback when he was a rookie, but as he plays more NFL football, he'll learn to protect his body a little bit better and just use his scrambling in more, like
safe ways, I guess.
Like safe ways when needed. And then, I don't know, I kind of look at how Lamar Jackson started playing. Like, he honestly just he would just sit in the pocket. He wasn't running out trying to extend plays like too crazy all the time. If he was leaving, he was gone and he was going to go. But for the most part, when he was clicking for real, he's still staying in the pocket, making throws, and Jaden has the arm to do that. So as he, gets a little bit older, I can see him, 1, beefing up, and 2, just being smarter.
I'm glad you brought up Lamar because we can pivot, and we'll talk about the Sunday night game because it was a classic and it was the last game of the season, and then we'll get into our playoff predictions because what a fucking game last night was.
Banger game.
And I was saying that I thought Niners Seahawks should have got the Sunday night slate.
Yeah, you did.
But I was fucking wrong.
What was that game? I didn't even get to watch that game. Like 13-3 or something.
The Seahawks just put belt.
Yeah, it could have been good. It actually was about to be good if CMC didn't drop that for the interception. If they scored right there, it was about to be really good. But then after the pick, it was like, oh, they're just about to waste the clock in this game.
Yeah. But going in, like, last night's game, the only thing that I got from it is Rodgers still has the juice, fucking clearly. No DK Metcalf. You have a bunch of wide receiver 3s, realistically, has your 1s in tight ends and Freiermuth and Smith, and Kenneth Gainwell's a motherfucker, bro. Like, Kenneth Gainwell is so good. Once they got the run game going, then it became a ball game. But everything I took from it was Rodgers can play this game as long as he fucking wants, as long as he has decent protection. If he has decent protection, and you can't touch him, and you can't get to him, and the Ravens' pass rush was non-existent for most part, he will fucking kill you. Like this, and this is just, I don't know. The Ravens,
they might need Brian Flores because that defense was horrendous.
With the names and the quality of players you have on that defense, like, once the Steelers gained some confidence on offense and had a good drive, going into half, I was looking at that drive as like, okay, didn't come away with shit, but you gave yourself confidence and you got the ball out of half. That's when I was like, okay, they're going to be able to move the ball. And they were protecting Rodgers. So I was like, eventually the Ravens are going to go down and make plays. Like, I don't know. It was just a frustrating watch if you're a Ravens fan, because it's just like, you have so many guys and names. I know you had injuries pile up last night. Guys were in and out of the game, but it's just like, man, no DK Metcalf, and you're letting the Steelers offense just kind of move the ball on you quick as fuck like they did.
Yeah, when they came out of half and they had that 7-minute drive, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, this one might be over.
Because they control time of possession, and that's what the Steelers need to do to win games.
The Ravens had that 1-minute drive where Lamar threw the interception to TJ Watt. And I was like, wow, like they're really not going to get the ball back forever.
It's disappointing that a player like Lamar Jackson has to deal with that type of shit down the stretch of games after what the type of performance he put on last night. I mean, we're talking about a 1-minute touchdown, and then he was gifted a missed extra point. They have a chance to go win it. And then wide right, missed fucking field goal. But like you guys are talking about the defense, it's absolute bullshit that Lamar gets the ball back with 3 minutes left. And
those 2 amazing passes.
Beauties.
They do their job.
2 beautiful passes.
And then even to go for the win on, 4th and fucking 8, he throws the ball right between all the defenders. Great catch by Isaiah Likely. But he drops his nuts off on 4th down and makes the throw he has to make. And It's fucking insane. See, listen, there's a difference. I'm not trying to do the whole Mahomes thing right now. It's a difference when, Pat Mahomes, sorry about your injury, but you guys just lost to the Raiders and you're 6-10 without you. It doesn't matter. You weren't even in position. It's fucking insane that this happens. This happens. I actually cannot believe that Lamar misses the playoffs because of this. I was so fucking mad about this last night. Like, I'm not even a Ravens fan at all, but that is just complete bullshit, especially considering that Aaron Rodgers at this fucking age gets bailed the fuck out by a missed kick. Insane.
I'm not even going to say it's like him getting bailed out. I mean, Rodgers did everything in his power to win the game. Yeah.
I'm just coping. I meant bailed out because
both quarterbacks played well enough to win the game.
I was doing the Rodgers versus Lamar thing. But Aaron Rodgers was incredible. That wasn't a Rodgers shot, by the way. He was incredible. He was fucking incredible.
That ball down the middle to Freiermuth was like,
yeah.
And it sucks that they got to play Houston, and we'll get to it in the playoff predictions. But just like kind of wrapping up thoughts on this game is like the Ravens need to fix that defense and get their trenches together. Obviously, you're playing the Steelers and Pitt. Like TJ, the ball to Zay Flowers, or no, the ball to Likely. Watt was legit
right there, like right there.
Like he was like a half step slow from that being over with right there.
Yep. I was like, he was a hair from getting that ball. I don't know about you guys.
On fourth, too.
I don't know how you guys feel about this. And I know there's not an easy fix, but I hate that it comes down to these two kickers blowing chunks and missing field goals for us to see playoffs. I know, again, there's no easy way to get kicking out of the game or making it not so much of a reason, but like him missing the extra point is the only reason that game gets interesting again. And then Tyler Loop misses it. And now the Ravens don't make the playoffs just because this one dude who gets to add on like 6 points, 4 points a game can't make one kick.
Outside of Brandon Aubrey, Boswell is like the most for sure thing.
He had missed one in 4 years.
Like, I thought it was like a big old bit. That ball looked so down the middle. And it goes right. I was like, wow. And then Tyler Loop gets it, and it goes the same way, right down the middle, and it's just gone. Like, I just don't. I don't know. There probably isn't a fix for it. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say Skip Bayless tweeted last night in all caps. He's like, stop letting non-football players decide big football games with kicking the ball
I agree with
between
Skip
two
Bayless.
posts.
It's just.
It's just.
I don't know. It's a part of the game.
What are you going to do? You can't change the game. You can't change the game, but it does make sense when you say it out loud. It's like, wow, these fucking guys who aren't even really football players for real, like they are, but you know what I'm saying?
Have you seen? I don't know whose kicker it is.
So much,
but someone's kicker is like big as fuck. Like someone's kicker is like fat.
Penn State
and Olivia saw him, and it was like, oh my god! I think it was. And Olivia saw him.
Penn State has a
fucking. Who the hell is that? Like that's a football player somehow, Olivia. And that guy matters.
Yeah.
God, Twitter be a funny motherfucker. I hop on it after the game. Somebody was like, Justin Tucker isn't missing that to go to the playoffs.
He's not, though. He's not.
Like, Justin Tucker's not missing that to go to the
That.
playoffs.
Hell no, he's not. He's one of the legends of kicking.
It was a chip shot, too. Like, they got into
kicking.
that likely catch.
I mean, it was like 40. It was like 40.
That's a fucking shit. That's an extra point with a flag.
Nowadays it's just
that's an extra point with a flag.
But like, also I was gonna say, like, I know you probably wouldn't have gotten much here, but like, hey, there was time left and a timeout, and hindsight's 2020. He did miss it, but like, why are we not running the ball there with Derrick Henry one time, try to give him 5 more yards?
They just wanted to center it, so he just went to the right a couple yards. But I agree. If you want 3 more yards, 5 could get risky if they don't blow. I don't know. I don't know what the time was.
But does that change does it change it though? No, probably not. That doesn't make him make it.
Shout out Daniel Carlson for a 60-yard game-winning field goal to beat KC. Shout out Daniel Carlson. He did his job today with the kicking. That's all I'm gonna say.
What a G.
Didn't Cam Little have like a 67-yarder fucking
against the Raiders?
Weekend
too? Something like that.
But we can get into the playoffs, and kind of, since we're talking about the Steelers, we can start out there in the AFC with our official playoff predictions. We can start our AFC 4-5 matchup. Texans, Steelers, next Monday. this game will be played on Monday night. What
We're
are
starting
we
Monday night
thinking?
game?
Yeah. Since we're starting with the Steelers, we can go ahead and start with them.
I'm thinking Texans. The Texans defense isn't going to have those. They're not going to have moments like the Ravens defense does of letting you pull quick ones on them. And I mean, I think this could be a close game at halftime, depending on who's controlling time of possession. But I think this game could. I think it could get away from. This could get away from the Steelers a little bit. I think the Texans offense is a little bit better than people even give it credit for. Sure, does TJ Watt kind of? Do I think him and he hasn't been the best this year, but him and like guys like Alex Highsmith and some of the Steelers guys who rush the passer get home to CJ Stroud a few times, maybe. But I'm sure I feel like they're going to have a big game plan of getting the ball out quick and just controlling the time of possession and trusting their defense. I know that's like a broken record talking about the Texans now and their defense, but I don't think this is going to be that crazy of a Monday night game, really.
Yeah, I agree. I ain't got much else to say. I think the Texans will take it pretty easily. I just think the Steelers are going to be in for a rough game coming off this one. Offense probably just ain't going to move as much.
I'm also going the Texans, but I do have this being a little bit closer of a game just because I think the momentum of this game is going to really help the Steelers, and they are at home. Yes, the Texans' offense is better than what people give it credit for, but they also are playing a good Steelers defense. And if the Texans aren't able to have this run game like they've kind of built in this big, long win streak that they've had, like it could get interesting because the Steelers did a pretty good job with Derrick Henry for the most part, and of the best job you can do with somebody like Derrick Henry. But it's just like it's gonna be interesting because it's all about if the protection can hold up for Rodgers, because if the protection can hold up for Rodgers, it's going to be an interesting game, and it's easier said than done against the best defenses in the league for sure. And I just don't think it happens. That's why I'm going Houston. But you are getting DK Metcalf back. Like, it could be a little bit more closer of a game because I don't think the Texans are like, yes, they have a great defense. I don't view the Texans offense as being able to like really blow teams out of the water like that. But I will say in the past 2 years, with the Texans having a bad O-line, 2 years ago they played the Browns, which at this point in time was the best defense in the league. 40 on them in the playoffs, got them up out of there. And a lot of people going into the playoffs that year were looking at the Browns as a sneaky team with Flacco in that defense. And then last year, played the Chargers, who last year were a top 3 defense in the league, housed they ass too. So these great defenses, Houston with a bad O-line and a bad offense, quote unquote, has been able to house these teams in the playoffs. And they've been there, done this. I think the Rodgers story with the Steelers ends here, though. But I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I feel like the Steelers always put on some good games, though. I feel like anytime it's a big-time game, there's always some drama involved with the Steelers.
What's
I think
the
it's
spread
definitely
on
going to
the
be low
game?
scoring for sure.
Texans,
I'm
for
looking
sure,
it up right now.
favored.
I think it's
Texans
all these
are
spreads.
favored. Yeah.
3.5. Yeah. It's going to be interesting because the Steelers were running a lot of 5 men on the line yesterday against Derrick Henry, and I don't think they'll do that as much against Nick Chubb and Woody Marks. So I think the Texans could definitely struggle a little bit more offensively. CJ Stroud could struggle because you're not going to be playing as many people up on the line or in the box, especially because like you might be able to get pressure with 4 people pretty easily with TJ. Like it might be pretty easy to do that. So,
but I will say they're not going to be able to do that because of Nico Collins. The Ravens just don't have a receiver of the caliber of Nico Collins, somebody that can just win one-on-one consistently like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Steelers defense plays it.
So I'm thinking they might like just throw more people.
I don't think they handled those deep shots very well either. Sorry, Nick. Sorry.
No, they don't.
My thing was lagging.
No, they don't. No, you're good.
And the Texans get those. That's how the Texans, they run the ball, they get the ball out quick, but there's times where they take that shot while the pressure's coming. CJ Stroud's really good at throwing that ball. That's been Nico Collins' whole season if you've watched some of these Texans games. There's games where he does not have many receptions at all, still is getting a lot of yardage. That's the type of receiver he is. I don't know. I think I could see a play in the second half where it's close. The Steelers are with them. Texans maybe up a touchdown, maybe up 10, then all of a sudden, bang, play action. CJ Stroud gets Nico over the top. And it's like this game now.
Just trust Nico.
Away from him.
Nico saw Jalen Ramsey play like shit in the second half. There, he saw that.
Good call out.
I'm gonna go Texans like 21-17.
I'm gonna go like 17-13.
But
I'm gonna go Texans 28.
I can't wait to be sitting here next Monday night. And I'm just like, wow, Rodgers
28-3.
I was like, wow, opening drive. I'm like, wow, Rodgers really just opening drive, touchdown. I'm like, shit.
I don't think
Little Jalen Warren 25-yard run.
God. But we are going the Texans there. We can get into the 3-6 matchup, which is, my opinion, my favorite matchup of the weekend. Bills and Jags in Jacksonville. And the Bills are favored. I think it's like
I got
1.5.
the Bills. I think Josh Allen, I think he shows up in a major way. That's all I'm going to say. Jags, it was fun. You're still Jacksonville. Thanks for coming out. Good job. You dominated a shit division. I'm just playing. The Texans and Colts are good. I just wanted,
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
The Jags
I want to
are
take
really
the
good.
Jags.
I'm just trolling. I'm trolling. The Jags are good.
Because, the Bills' defense ain't really shit for real. That Bills' defense ain't shit. All right, we can put up 30 on them.
If Josh Allen loses this game, the QB rankings are going to be the most disgusting thing going into next season. With
I can already see it now.
Josh,
AFC, all the AFC quarterbacks are gone.
Bro, we're going to get lists with Herbert at 1, probably, if that shit happens. It's going to get gross. I'm not even kidding. Josh has to win this game. The Chiefs aren't in the playoffs. He has to win this game.
Nick, before you say who you're picking, can I just sell you
Oh, yes.
on why it's the Jags?
I
think this is something people are overthinking. If I'm getting the Jags at plus money at home in Duval against a Bills team with no true number one receivers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, what do the Bills want to do? Run the ball with James Cook, Josh Allen. The Jags are the best run defense team in the league by far, actually. Best run defense in the league. You're getting them at home as a dog against a Bills defense is bottom 5 in rush defense with ETN, a bottom 10 defense overall with Jacoby Myers, Brian Thomas Jr., Washington, and a good run game, and Strange, and they're healthy, and Trevor Lawrence has been playing MVP caliber football the past 7-8 weeks of the year. This is the same Jacksonville Jaguars team that went to Denver and won.
I love this team.
And
I spoke about Liam Cohen.
And we're just going to give the Bills a win because of Josh Allen. I'm talking the Jags are a way more balanced and better team than the Buffalo Bills. Way more. And they've been showing it all year long. I'm not just going to be like
balanced and
the
better.
Bills. Yes, I think the Jags are a way more balanced and better team. They have honestly just as good of a run game as the Bills. They have way better receivers. They have a way better defense. They're the best run defense in the league, and the Bills only want to run. And the Bills are on the road. I'm not giving Josh Allen, because he's Josh Allen, this win when the Bills are just not as good. There's no way they should be favored in this game. There's no way.
You're selling me.
I'm going to Jags in a shootout. I'm going to Jags 34-30. I'm going to give Josh Allen the respect he deserves because he's obviously going to put up a fight. But I just don't think this defense is stopping Jacksonville. There's nothing this Bills team has shown me all year that they're going to be able to all of a sudden stop the run on the road. I expect Brian Thomas Jr. to have a game. I think Brian Thomas Jr., he's been up and down all year. I think Brian Thomas Jr. has a game.
When do they play? What game is this, on Sunday?
He has a
this
game.
Is Sunday. Yeah, I think he has a game.
You sold me. I got the Jags.
I'm going Jags. I think they're just a better team.
I want to see it. I agree with everything you're saying, but I just, you know what I did? When I did my picks, I picked Jacksonville originally, I'll be honest. And then I was just in my head, I'm like, you're telling me you can't just imagine Josh Allen winning this game. Just he's the guy who wins.
For sure.
So I changed my pick to that off the dumb brain. That's my logic on this. Honestly, I really don't have much of a breakdown. If I wanted to break it down, I think my words would lean Jacksonville. But for my pick, and just the sake of my pick, I'm just going to go gut feeling, and that's Bills. But I agree with everything
I think
you
it's
said.
going to be a good
This is
game.
going to be a fun game.
I think
it's my favorite game besides Bears-Packers.
Wow, I'm excited.
So I'm going Jags, Cole's going Bills, and Nick's also going Jags.
I'm sticking Bills.
Yeah,
we should keep records on this playoff,
I think
too.
it's going to be it's going to be a fun game on Sunday. And then going to our Sunday night game, Chargers at New England.
I'll start real quick because I've picked my third road team in a row, but it's just what I think is going to happen. I think the Chargers are going to go into whatever they call it, Foxborough, and beat the Patriots. I do. I think Drake May, he's maybe deserving of MVP. He might still win it. Amazing season. Do we know if Stephon Diggs is out for sure or not? Question.
No idea. No idea.
Clue.
Well, either way, though, I think that there are just some things. The Patriots won. I feel like they were a really good regular season team, but going up against Justin Herbert, What was I saying in here before the season started about Justin Herbert and what he's going to do this season?
I remember that.
I did not forget about that. And God, I would not allow a Drake May in his playoff debut to be the reason I go back on that statement. And Justin Herbert has been incredible all year. He's been an Iron Man. That line hasn't taken good care of him. But I really, really believe that defense is going to get enough stops against this Drake May and Travion Henderson and potentially Stephon Diggs offense to put Justin Herbert in a position to make plays and win this game. And I think that he is going to go on the road and get off of his slump in the playoffs and get a win. And I trust in Justin Herbert. He's got some rest this week. He didn't play against the Broncos. He didn't even start the game, I don't think. And now it's time that he shows up in the playoffs. I didn't go back on what I said about Justin Herbert going into this season. I believe in him. He's been a top 5 quarterback easily this season. And he's going to have a great playoff game against the Patriots.
Stephon Diggs' arraignment is scheduled for January 3rd. I think that means he can play until then. Yeah.
That's some Patriots bullshit right there. That's just what they fucking do. That's what they did when Tom was winning too, and I love him. But golly, of course it's fucking after the playoffs, pretty much, unless they make a run.
I'm going the Chargers as well.
Really?
Let's go.
I want to go ahead and be like, it's the O-line with the 2 tackle injuries. I think they've been playing without tackles for so long now to where I think they've found a good rhythm and a good flow. It's not like they fell off earth, like they made the playoffs still comfortably. So I think they are accustomed now. Now, if it was like last week and Joel and Slater went down, like, yeah, it would be a whole different game. But they've played majority of this season without their tackles. And I think they've still found a good rhythm. Now you have Hampton back.
The Patriots don't have a groundbreaking pass rush either. They don't have this like elite pass rush. So I'm with you about the tackles thing. That's why I didn't think much about that.
So I think the Patriots having an overrated defense, a young quarterback on a Sunday night game, yes, he's been elite all year, is playing a top-tier Chargers defense with a veteran head coach, and Justin Herbert's a veteran quarterback at this point, been here in the playoffs multiple times. I just don't think the Patriots have what it takes to beat this Chargers defense. I don't think the weapons are good enough. I think if the Chargers are able to slow down that run game with Henderson and Stevenson, it's going to be tough. I just think the Chargers win this in a close one. I think the Chargers walk it off, and I think they win 23-20. I think the Chargers are just better. And I think the Patriots, like a lot of teams in the playoffs, got to this point off a very favorable schedule. This is one of the things I hate about the NFL, because how are the Ravens to start the year playing 6 playoff contenders? And then, the Patriots are having a 4th place schedule and they get to have the 2 seed. But I don't think that matters because now you're playing a Chargers team that's been having tough competition all year. And has been in the playoffs. I just think experience is going to play a part, and the Patriots are a year ahead of schedule, and I think the Chargers win.
Yeah, I got Chargers 28-23. I didn't give a score. I'm going to go 28-23. I think they get enough stops to force the field goals, like I was saying. That's my score. I like it.
I was expecting to be the only one choosing the Chargers here. I'm not going to lie. I'm also choosing the Chargers. Pretty much the same thing. I think that we're just a little bit early on the Patriots. I think they need one more weapon. And like we've been talking about this Chargers defense all year, like you guys said. And they just have the weapons. They got McConkey, they got Keenan Allen, they got Quinn Johnston, they got Hampton's back and healthy. I just think they're going to be able to grind out a tough win in New England.
There's nothing that this defense of the Patriots does is going to bring to the table that's going to scare me. Like
Gonzo, fine, you can take away Quentin Johnston, but we'll have Keenan Allen and Lab McConkey just go crazy on the inside.
I think Keenan Allen has a game. I just think Keenan Allen in a big playoff spot just has his usual and gets off.
Gadsden hasn't been playing good recently, but I think he's still good.
I don't know. I just haven't seen the Patriots play enough tough games outside of the Bills, and I've already kind of just gave my 2 cents on the Bills against the Jags. The Chargers have a more dynamic passing game than the Bills. The Chargers have a better defense than the Bills. And the Bills have been the toughest game. And the Patriots played the Ravens a couple weeks ago, but the Ravens have been dealing with injuries all year.
And the Chargers have just been winning big games. They've just been hot. Obviously, they just lost the Broncos because they didn't play anybody. But they've just been winning big-ass games. They put the Chiefs to bed when they were 5-point underdogs. They beat the Eagles on Monday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken. They have just won these big games, and I trust them. That line shit never seems to matter enough yet. So I'm going to have to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know their line sucks, but just like with them and the Texans, that bad O-line, they're so fucking good in all these other areas that I'm yet to see it really, like, fuck them over.
Mm-hmm.
Then that Cowboys game, they put the Cowboys to bed too.
Yep.
Obviously, they
only
lost
let
to
us
the Texans.
15, 17 points.
34-17.
Do you guys want to jump to the NFC wild card, or do you want to go through the AFC in total right now?
How many? We just go through the AFC. Just finish the AFC.
So for mine, Denver off the bye gets the Chargers. So it'd be Denver and Chargers in my divisional. This is where I would go Denver. I think for everything I just said about the Patriots, Denver does have on the defensive side of the ball. So I think this is the situation in the matchup that would be tough. I think it would still be a really good game because I think Denver's offense stalls way too much for me to take them like as a real serious Super Bowl contender. Like they're against the Chargers, like second string, like they were just stalling on offense in the second quarter for like no reason. Like there's just times where it's like Bo Nix is either really good or really bad. And I know he's been a really clutch quarterback this year. I want to say the Chargers, but I'm going to go Denver and respect that defense and the bye. And this is where I think the tackles would come into play because Denver does have the defense to get after Herbert. But if he was able to go into Denver and win this game, man, this would be a crazy, crazy run for Herbert. But I'm going to go Denver, trust Sean Payton in a big spot, off a bye with the rest, and that defense. I think this is where the Chargers O-line issues would come into play, and I just would lean Denver. I think it would be a close one still, but I'm going to lean Denver in this one.
I think
this is the night that Justin
matchup.
This is the night Justin Herbert cements himself in the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Because I don't want to overthink this game. The only thing that made me want to pick the Broncos was that they're going to be playing on their home field. But Justin Herbert versus Bo Nix in a playoff setting, both good defenses. I feel like the Broncos defense has fallen off a little bit. Chargers defense is only playing better. Well, that's not fully true, but they've been really good throughout the year, and especially towards the end of the season, just not these last couple weeks, you could say. Justin Herbert is going to have a big night once again on the road in Mile High against a division rival. He is over those. If Justin Herbert had playoff wins right now, we wouldn't even be thinking about this. But since he hasn't had that playoff win, I feel like it's easy to say. You could see the Chargers losing, but this is just my quarterback game. If I have one quarterback game all playoffs, I just pick based off just quarterback. I guess I picked Josh Allen, but that wasn't like because of a Trevor Lawrence thing. I'm saying quarterback versus quarterback. Justin Herbert's going to outplay Bo Nix, and those defenses are not too far apart to me. The Broncos defense is not the Broncos defense from earlier this year. They're going to get exposed in the playoffs just like the Patriots are.
So here.
Justin Herbert wins again. The Chargers advance to the AFC title game.
Nick, are you going the Chargers as well? I think he's lagging. But I don't know. I just had a hard time because we'll get into the NFC. But I was just like, I'm not high on Broncos or the Patriots, but I just have a hard time convincing myself that both the 1 and 2 seeds are both going to lose. And I think Denver with that bye. So that's why if I had the Patriots losing, I'm going to have Denver winning in this one. Close. I would go Denver 21-17.
I've been picking too many road games also, so I agree.
I'm gonna go the Chargers in this one as well. Their game against the Patriots, I'm not going with the Drake May fall off. I'm kind of just going with like a good game from both teams. I think this is where we could see like a Bo Nix breaking down, falling apart in the big spot versus a good defense.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that good of a quarterback, to be honest. I think he's good. I don't think he's I don't think he's a premier 1 seed quarterback. Like, this is what I think's gonna happen. I don't know if you guys if you already touched on that, but
when I say I agree, I just meant I agree with what Corey's saying. Of like, it's very unlikely the 1 and 2 seed don't advance. But I just think that's what the AFC was this year. There's a reason it was up for grabs all year.
Exactly. This is the year for it.
They were never the 1 and 2 all year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't. It maybe seemed like mathematically they were going to be the 1 and 2, and it didn't happen. But like, the AFC is so up for grabs that
that's exactly what I think.
I don't view the only thing I view them as is the team with the home field advantage. But I don't view the Patriots and the Broncos as these the traditional 1 and 2 seeds. I just see them as the home field advantage.
This isn't like the Chiefs and Ravens of the past years.
That's why my logic is where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that scares me is the fact that it is at Mile High. Like that's the best home field I feel like
That's
you
a
can
crazy
get.
home field advantage. That's a crazy home field advantage. Yes.
But I don't know. I think the Chargers. I just don't believe in the Broncos or the Patriots, man. I just don't.
I don't either, but I'm gonna pick the Broncos. I just don't think Sean Payton, with a bye, with his resume and how good of a coach he is, loses to a Chargers team with both tackles out. Kind of like, I don't think the Patriots have the pass rush to really make the tackles a problem, but I do think Denver does. And I think Denver's defense is still just on a different level than the Patriots to cause more problems.
If Justin
But I don't
Herbert
know. It could.
goes on the road versus the 2-1 seeds and wipes them out of the playoffs back to back, that is fucking legendary. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he goes on the road 2 games in a row and wins both of those and goes to the AFC title game, that's fucking legendary.
People are talking like it's Josh Allen's playoffs. What if it turns out to be Justin Herbert's playoffs?
Oh shit.
Come on.
I'm fucking down. I'm down.
So I'm going
down.
Denver. You guys are going Chargers. God, I want to change my take so bad, but I'm gonna ride out with Denver. I think with the bye they get it done.
I want to change it so bad. You don't even believe in it.
I'm gonna trust what I did in my predictions last night. Well, getting on to a divisional matchup, Texans at Jags. I think we all have Texans and Jags. You would have the Bills.
Bills. I'll be quick.
So
I have the Texans doing what they did on that Thursday night game. Pretty much same style. Just all out, just fucking domination. I think the Texans are coming different this year. Everything I said about Josh Allen, I do believe, but I also agreed with all the things you said about the Bills that I don't trust. And I could see this kind of – I'm not going to say that the Texans are going to blow them out because I don't think that'll happen. But my equation for why I think this game's going to be Texans is equaling out to almost a fucking blowout because I just could see this Bills defense collapsing against an elite game plan by DeMeco Ryans and this Texans team offensively. CJ Stroud is going to be playing his best football coming off a playoff win. And then I could just see Josh Allen in that pass game being non-existent and them relying on James Cook and Josh Allen's run game. But you're talking about a team that doesn't even allow 300 yards of offense a game. I mean, they lead the NFL in yards allowed per game. So if the Bills want to play that clock shit, I don't know if it's going to work out in their favor. I could see 3 and outs happening. I think Josh Allen's special, so it's not going to be as easy as I'm making it sound. But I got Texans over Bills again. That matchup they had was too convincing of me. It's not like that was a coin flip game to where I could just see, now the Bills are going to get them. I think the Texans showed everybody something the way they beat the Bills 5 or 6 weeks ago.
I like that.
But you guys have a different matchup. You guys have a divisional game.
Yeah.
I think I just have to ride out with the Jags here. I don't know, like we said, I think that they're a very balanced team that can move the ball despite playing against really good defenses. And it's going to be tough, but the Jags, like we said, have an amazing defense as well. So they're going to be able to shut down CJ Stroud. I think this would be a really, really good game to see. And I would just slightly take the Jags.
They did split this year, and in the game that the Texans did win, CJ Stroud didn't play. And it was a close game, and then the Texans all of a sudden just put up 26 in the fourth.
Oh my God, I remember that one.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. Crazy. The Texans they have weapons on their team. Bro from Iowa State. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Oh my gosh.
There's 3 of them.
Higgins,
Noel and Higgins. Those 2, Kirk's on their weapons room, if I'm not mistaken. Nico Collins, they don't have a great offense, but they have guys they can explode out of nowhere.
Plays. They can make plays.
But
this pains me because this is the matchup that happened, and I was so high on Houston. I'm so high on the Jags. But this is just a situation where, kind of like you said, is it everybody's saying it's Josh Allen's playoffs? Maybe it's Herbert's. Maybe it's Trevor Lawrence.
Oh,
maybe it's Trevor Lawrence.
Maybe it's Stroud's.
God, this is such a coin flip for me because I love both these rosters.
These are my 2 teams, bro.
Yes,
these are my 2 teams.
I'm gonna go Jacksonville at home against this tough defense. Oh, it's gonna be a tough game. In division, I just think the Jags have a little bit more they can go to offensively against the Texans than the other way around. I just think the Jags having more established of a run game and just having yes, you brought up Higgins and Noel, but I just trust the Jags' weapons a little bit more. Strange is a top-tier pass-catching tight end. Brian Thomas Jr., somebody that can take the top off always. And Jacoby Myers, ever since Jacoby Myers been with the Jags, Trevor Lawrence has been playing MVP caliber. Like, they have guys all over the
Washington
field.
is actually their leading receiver on the year.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So looking at this, like, I'm just going to go with the Jags. I think they can just provide a little bit more juice offensively in a game to where if the Texans did get down in this game and that Jags defense can really shut down the run, I think it would be a little bit tough for the Texans to get back in a game. And that's kind of my worry a little bit with the Texans, to where if that defense gives up a touchdown early in a game, like, can the offense, because the offense is better than what people expect, but I don't think it's this explosive top tier offense to where they still kind of rely on this defense to get some takeaways, and this could easily happen. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is not going to turn the ball over in this game at all, but I just think the Jags offense, the Jags offense might have a little bit more to go to in a game like this, to where I could see Jacoby Myers making a big time catch late, to get him in field goal range or something, and could argue they have the best kicker in the league. And
I didn't argue. I'm not going to argue with anything you're saying. But I'll go on record saying I would have the Texans beating the Jaguars, but I do like all of this. I just didn't have this matchup. So I wanted to say I would take Texans still.
I'm going to go the Jags, and in my AFC Championship game, I have the Jags and the Denver Broncos.
Mine is the Texans and the Chargers.
It's Jags, Chargers.
God, we're lit.
No Bills anywhere.
We're lit. So, Cole, you can go ahead with yours, and then we can hop into the NFC after you give your Super Bowl.
I also have to get running to basketball, so you guys can do the NFC without me. I'll just do the AFC today, but I'll send you over my picks. For my AFC title game, the way I've been talking, I've almost described 2 blowouts for them to get to this point. And I meant everything I said about Justin Herbert, but we saw this game 2 weeks ago, and this defense is maybe just going to be a little bit too much. I think he has a good game against it, better than last time. But I think this is going to be the point where the Texans offense just starts clicking and that defense is going to be fully rammed up. I mean, that's a group of 11. They are 11 badass motherfuckers on defense. The way that they tackle, the way that they, even when a reception's made on them, just how quickly they get to that ball. They got 11 ball hawks out there. It's insane. And they're just going to make these big plays. And when I think of playoff games, what loses playoff games is turnovers. As good as Justin Herbert is, he is still prone, like Trevor Lawrence and we talked about, to randomly throw that pick. And I think he's going to play so perfect in those first 2 games, like I said. This game's going to be such a great game, though. I could see it coming down to first team to turn the ball over. And I see the Texans forcing that turnover. So I'm going to go Texans. Texans are heading to the Super Bowl after an 0-3 start, I want to say. An 0-3 start where, if I'm remembering correctly, since I'm leaving and I can't do the NFC, I think in the first game of the season they played the Rams and they lost that game. But in the Super Bowl, they're going to win that game. I got the Texans winning the Super Bowl. I got to head out to my practice, though. Peace out. That's my Super Bowl pick right there. Rams, Texans. Texans win it. The get back from week 1. D'Amico Ryan, C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, Super Bowl champs.
Wow.
That'd be crazy.
Mic drop. He's out of here.
So I'll go ahead. Denver and Jacksonville. What a crazy season this would be. Give me Jacksonville.
My God, it's happening.
Give me Jacksonville.
It's happening.
This would be the same. We saw this game a couple weeks ago where the Jags went in and took care of business. Give me Trevor Lawrence to have the season out of nowhere and advance to the Super Bowl, beating 2 of the top 3 defenses on the way there in the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Oh, this just doesn't sound right. This just doesn't sound right.
It doesn't. It
don't. Just a few minutes ago, I said on accident that those were my 2 teams. These are actually my 2 teams, Jags and Chargers. If you go back a few years, I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life. But about 5 years ago, they lost me. So I picked up alternate contracts with the Jags, the Chargers, and the Cardinals. Cardinals suck. The Jags and Chargers, come on now. We here. AFC Championship.
I can back his. I
can't
back this.
Those are my teams, bro.
We were both on the Jags for years. And Connor was down on the pod today. He's known this. Me and Nick have been on the Jags train. This is the year. I texted them a couple days ago. I was like, Nick, please tell me we still got stock in Jacksonville.
Just say that.
Please tell me.
We didn't sell it all. We didn't sell it all.
all the stock. We're
No,
back.
no.
We're back. It's Duval going to the Super Bowl for me. And then you have
I got
the
Chargers at Jags. Now, I'm also going the Jags here. I ain't gonna lie. I'm going the Jags. But it's because the Chargers just went through Denver. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a tough defense. Going 2 games in a row against the Broncos defense, who was earlier in the year the best in the league. And now we're talking about the Jags, who are one of the best in the league, playing really good recently. Again, like I've been saying, like they got a balanced offense that can just move it no matter what. I don't think they're going to struggle with that. Like, I just got the Jags, bro. Like, they just do everything balanced and well. And with there being no really great quarterbacks besides Josh Allen, and I know Drake May, but like, I just think this is the year for them to take advantage of it. Oh, I got the Jags. My Jags in the playoff.
I think in this situation, we will see the same game that transpired between the Broncos and Jags. Give me the Jags 34-20 and a convincing win to go to the Super Bowl. And this is where, like you say, you see all in the divisional, you said Bo Nix, the lights are bright. This is where I think the lights get bright. And I think T-Law in Liam Cohen's first year gets to the Super Bowl.
It just doesn't sound right. There's got to be something wrong.
Yeah, could be. But we can jump over to the NFC side of things. We can start out with the 4-5, Carolina and the Rams. Pretty easy. Don't really got to talk too much about this one. I got the Rams taking care of business. Carolina did beat them.
Did beat them
at Carolina. At Carolina. Carolina's a different team at home. But give me McVay and Stafford.
Well, playoff start. Everybody locked the fuck in.
Yeah.
It's the Rams.
Apparently, Devontae Adams is on track to play.
Really? Oh, it's over. Say goodnight.
So give me the Rams.
No, I'm playing the Bucks no more. We're playing the Rams. It's playoff time.
Give me the Rams, and I think you're taking the Rams as well.
Yes.
Now we can move on to Philly and San Fran.
What a difference home field advantage in like 1 week can make. Because if the Niners are the 1 seed,
I was telling myself on the Niners.
Yeah, like if the Niners are the 1 seed right now, I'm feeling so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to go to Philly. Say goodnight. Like I think it's over. I think I'm going to take the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I don't. I know we saw a lot out of that Niners offense 2 weeks ago against the Bears, but now we just saw them get stifled by the Seahawks. And you're going into Philly against a defense who is almost just as good as the Seahawks, if not better. Maybe just as good. Like that running defense is insane. Like CMC hasn't been really good running the ball this year. He's been amazing catching the ball, and I don't think he's going to be able to run the ball like at all in this game. So
I'm also going Philly. Kind of keep it short and sweet. I think that Philly gets a lot of slack, like they don't have an elite defense. They're basically coming off of a bye for their starters, and there's also been like a lot of narrative on if they should have played, but I think they got the matchup they wanted against the Niners defense that is hurt and is struggling. I just think Philly's offense gets it clicking. I think Saquon has a big day on the ground, and I think that this offense just fully gets going, and they just take care of business. I have them winning like 34-24. I think the Niners could make it a fight in the first half, but I think the second half, Eagles open it up, and I got the Eagles advancing. And now, 2-7, Bears at Packers. I'll start with this one because one of my takeaways from the weekend is I think if you're a young team, you shouldn't have the mindset of looking ahead. I think the looking ahead mindset should be more for established veteran teams. I think looking at what the Bears put on the field this past weekend before the playoffs has a young team to let Detroit just go and do whatever they wanted offensively. Like, very alarming to me because now I'm looking at that Niners game and I'm looking a little bit different of the Niners because I just watched the Niners play a real legit defense in the Seattle Seahawks, who was probably the best in the league. Get
done.
Like the Niners
basically shut up. Shut up.
So now I'm looking at the Bears and the Niners and Bears game completely different after this week 18 because I'm like, maybe the Bears defense is just that bad. Because it just seems like the Bears came out and like acted like they had the 1 seed on lock and they were just practicing. Like the 2-3 seeds couldn't fly. Now they got lucky because Philly was resting their starters. So like looking at that, because I think looking at this game, looking at the 2 times the Packers and Bears played, like the Packers were controlling the game, both of them. Like I'm just not looking at the Bears defense as being able to do shit with the Packers offense. And I think even without Micah Parsons, I think the Packers defense is better. And
Yeah.
Roman Dunze is a big factor in this game, and I have no idea if he's playing or not. But I got the Packers. I just don't think this Bears defense is going to be able to stop Green Bay. And I think we're going to be looking at this game as chunk play by Love, big run by Josh Jacobs. And I'm not going to be shocked if the Packers go into Soldier and score that first drive.
No, not at all.
And then kind of looking at I compare the Bears and the Patriots a lot. I think of them as kind of the same teams. Mediocre kind of defenses, got some names, but they're not crazy on defense. They're mainly focused on the offense and the play calling from both sides. And I'm looking at the Bears as like Caleb Williams, first-time playoff spot. Ben Johnson, first-year head coach, big-time playoff spot against a veteran Packers team with LaFleur and Love, who's been a big-time playoff performer, who they're coming off of a mini-bye. I'm going to be looking at the game like, wow, Romeo Doubs just caught a 35-yard fucking in route and wide fucking open and nobody's around him. I think they win in a shootout. I think the Packers win like 27-24. I think it's going to be a shootout, but I think the Packers defense gets a stop to end the game.
You know what this feels like? This feels like the Packers versus Cowboys a few years ago. Jordan Love comes in, slings fucking 40 on him. I got to keep the hate going. I got to keep it going. We are unrelenting up in here. I am picking the Packers. I haven't, I just don't see the Bears offense putting together an entire good game. I just don't think they're going to do it. They didn't score for the first half in that game last week. I didn't watch it, to be honest. So I don't. This last week just happened. But I don't think that the defense is bad. We know that. I don't think either defense is really good. They have definitely fallen off a little bit since losing Micah Parsons, for sure. But I do think they're probably still just as good as the Packers, or it's just as good as, these defenses are just as good as each other, really. I don't think there's anybody with a great defense. I don't think there's anybody who's absolute shit. But I think with you, I think it's going to be like a 24-20 game, something like that. Because I think Jordan Love, it's going to be interesting with, 2-3 weeks of healing now. And he's going to come back. So I think he's going to be able to move the ball pretty well. And I think they're going to be pretty surprised by how good he's going to be moving. And I just think the Bears offense just probably for a whole quarter and a half aren't going to be able to move the ball. Or in the red zone, not be able to convert in the red zone. Something's going to happen where they just can't finish drives.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be shocked if in fashion, I think the Bears will be down 14-zip after the first couple drives of this game.
And that's what they do. They just always come back in the end, but they just can't get the whole game of offense and defense playing good together.
But I'm going to go Green Bay in this one, and then we can get on to the 1-7 for me, which would be, and it would be for you, Seattle and Green Bay. This is where I would go Seattle. Defense with a bye. Green Bay, no Micah Parsons. I think the Seahawks run game would have a field day, and I think it would just be a tough ask against the Seahawks team on the road with that defense humming. I got the Seahawks convincingly in this one against the Packers.
I think I would too, to be honest. Like you said, the defense is just so damn good. It's going to be tough because that offense in Seattle doesn't really look good either, but with that running back tandem and no Micah Parsons, you're going to be able to just run it down their throat pretty easily and just build off that play action. So I am very worried about the Seattle Seahawks later on, but this matchup plays pretty well for them.
Right. I got Seattle winning 24-10.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think they're going to take care of business. Then we have the same 3-5, Philly and the Rams.
Who you going here?
As much as I would want to pick the Rams, I just think Philly just has their number. I think over the past couple of years, I wanted to convince myself that the Rams always play them tough, they always play them well, but Philly always just wins in the end. They always just find a way to win. I think this is a game where you have to have a good Devontae Adams game. He's coming off the hammy stuff. Who knows if he even plays in the wild card. But I just think that the Eagles are just such a tough matchup for the Rams. They're just such a tough matchup because the Eagles are really good in the run game. And when the defense is going, it's really, really going. And the corners of the Rams aren't stellar enough to stop an A.J. Brown big game or a Devontae Smith big game. And then you have Dallas Goedert having a sneaky game where he has 60 yards on his own. And
I think they're fine with that, low key. I think the Rams are fine with that. I mean, as long as we shut down Saquon, which I think they can, that's where they're good at. I think they're going to be able to do that. I think this is going to be a really good game.
I just think tail oldest time in these past couple of years when these two teams have played. I just think.
No, there's no snow this time. Well, we don't know that. Maybe there will be.
I just think I could just see the game playing out where Rams score, tie it up, Eagles get it on a long 3rd and 8. They pick it up.
4th and 1, tush push.
No, they pick it up because Jalen Hurts scrambles and gets out the pocket, and they get in the field goal range and walk it off and go to the championship game.
I'm going to take the Rams in this one.
Mm.
I think it's going to be a really good game, but I think Philly is obviously strongest in their defensive line, and yeah, you're probably going to shut down that Rams running game, but like if there's a team that I want being forced into passing the ball, it's probably Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams. It's gonna be a close one, but I think the Rams defense is good enough to at least slow down Philly and make them think. Like we've seen Philly struggle. That's what it is. And yeah, I'm gonna take the Rams, and we'll have a divisional NFC championship up in here.
Yeah, I want to go Rams. I just think Philly got their number. I think it's a tough matchup for the Rams. If the Rams secondary was better, I'd be more comfortable with it. But I think Saquon's so due for some big games, and I think people are starting to call him "quote unquote" like he's not the way he was last year. And I think Saquon closed those games until the Super Bowl, and then Hurts had his performance in the Super Bowl. I just think I could just see a world where Jalen Hurts gets out the pocket to go get a first down and late in the game, and it kind of just is over with from there. I'm gonna go Eagles 21-18. Now, NFC Championship, I have Seattle and Philly. Man,
Gotta go Seattle here, no? Okay.
You can go ahead.
So I got NFC West. 3rd time they're playing each other this year, divisional rival. Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Rams. Rams at the Seahawks. This is gonna be a good one. I think this will be a good one. I'm gonna take the Rams to go back to the Super Bowl. I just think, like I said earlier, I think the Seahawks offense has had some struggles recently. And I think down the stretch in this Super Bowl, at this point, the Seahawks defense is what it is, but Matthew Stafford's played him twice. He's played good defenses all year. Like, if he doesn't turn the ball over 3 times, I think it's good. Like, I think they're going to be able to do it because I don't think Seattle is going to be able to put up more than 3 touchdowns or anything like that against the Rams. Like, we've seen it this year. They've struggled against them. So, and Sam Darnold in big spots. There's never been a bigger spot than this for him. So I'm going to go the Rams to make it back to the Super Bowl in a really good game, probably like 32-25 or some shit, 26, something like that.
Man. So you're going to have Rams, Jags.
I got Rams, Jags, Super Bowl. 3 seed versus 5 seed.
I'm torn. I'm going to go big spot. I'm going to go Philly to beat Seattle, even on the road. I just think, as somebody who's been hard on Jalen Hurts and just the Eagles in general, and like you can say the play calling, this and that and the third. Like, looking at this, this would be such a ugly game to watch. Low scoring, 2 really good defenses. I think I would just trust Philly's offense a little bit more than Seattle's. I like what you've been saying about like Seattle's offense kind of being able to like struggle a little bit, because I just think they're missing that true number 2. I think Shaheed's good,
such a gadget guy.
But he's such a gadget guy, and I think if the Eagles would have the secondary to kind of contain JSN, this would need a historic Sam Darnold performance over Philly, even at home. But I just think the Eagles' offense, I trust the Eagles' offense more than Seattle's, even though I think it would be a good defensive match. But I think Philly would win 17-14. I think it would still be close, but give me Philly. Kind of in the same fashion, I think it would come down to like a Saquon Barkley run or like a Jalen Hurts run out of the pocket to get him in the field goal range. But give me Philly and Jacksonville in our Super Bowl to kind of wrap up the episode. You can go with your Rams and Jacksonville.
Rams, Jags. It's February 4th. I'm so excited waking up for this game. Sadly, the dream ends here for my Jacksonville Jaguars. I got the Rams. This would be a really good game. Again, Rams going up against a good defense. I'm not worried about it. They're the team that I'd want to do that. It's just a big, I don't think either of these teams would really have some huge struggles in this game. I've been talking about the Jags and how balanced they are. They'll be able to move the ball no matter what. I just think in the biggest of spots, Matthew Stafford's been here before. No one on that Jags team has been there before. So yeah, I'd probably just take the Rams. Matthew Stafford 2 times. That's a Hall of Fame career right there.
Yep, man.
Super Bowl MVP, Matthew Stafford.
I have Philly versus Jacksonville.
God.
Man.
We know how this ends.
Such a interesting one. But I think they're going to go back-to-back. I think the story ends for the Jags here.
Season from hell.
We both have the Jags going to the Super Bowl. But I think as much as I could say about the Jags being a complete team and a very balanced team, I could say the same argument for the Eagles and the Eagles just being better at everything than the Jags when it comes down to it. In a big spot, Jalen Hurts been here multiple times, done it before. I think everybody wants to see the Eagles be beat, but I just don't think there's a team that can beat them. This is the same team that blew out Kansas City in the Super Bowl last year. So, this is a team that I just think has everything it takes to go back-to-back. I think they have all this talk around their name all year long. It's the Hurts stuff, and I've been included on it on this podcast, like the Hurts, A.J. Brown stuff, and the offense, and this and that and everything. They could go back-to-back. Realistically, if the Eagles get to the Super Bowl, there isn't a team in the AFC that can beat them. Yes, the Texans have a good defense, but they don't have the offense to beat Philly. I think the Jags would give them the best matchup because the Jags are a very balanced team. And that's it. I think they overwhelm Denver and the Patriots. I think they would just beat the Bills, kind of like they beat the Chiefs last year in convincing fashion. Like the Bills don't have the defense to compete. So I just think it's Philly Super Bowl to go back-to-back. The only team I think could realistically beat Philly is the Rams. I think the Rams are the only team that can beat, out of the three, the Rams are the scariest team because they could beat Philly or Seattle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I just think Philly's such a tough draw in the divisional for the Rams. And I think they would overwhelm Seattle, who's still a very young team. And I think they would have their way with Jacksonville. I don't think it would be a blowout, but I think it would be a convincing win. And I think the Eagles go back-to-back and Hurts goes back-to-back.
I hate that. I hate that so much. It's terrible.
Yeah. But
I mean, it's going to be a fun playoffs either way.
Yeah. So you have the Rams winning the Super Bowl against the Jags, and I have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl against the Jags. But
hey, if the Jags get there, it's a good day.
Yeah, and Cole had the Houston Texans beating the Rams in his Super Bowl. So
AFC,
you guys have the
Super
same
Bowl
Super Bowl. Yep. So you guys have we all have different Super Bowl winners.
Yeah, we all have different Super Bowls.
Yep. But that is all we have for this episode of the Barrel Talk podcast. Playoff predictions, Black Monday.
Have fun watching playoffs, boys.
Big time playoffs. We will be back next week to talk wild card, what happened, what went down. But enjoy the playoffs because football is almost over.
It is.
But
sad.
That is all we have for this episode of the Barrel Talk podcast. Hope you tune in to future episodes.
Peace.